Welcome to the Coastly Distinct Podcast. This is your boy DJ KO. My co-host K Jack couldn't be here today. She had to take off because of Thanksgiving. You know, everybody had a hard, good Thanksgiving. I had an awesome time. I don't know about you guys, but I was in New Orleans for the White Classic. Even though we lost the game, and my alumni, you know, but I got always represent my alumni. Southern University. Shout out to Southern University. Shout out to everybody that I saw this weekend for Southern University. Hey. So, I'm back at it again, and this is another week, so I had to keep the grind going, y'all. So today we got a special guest. We got two special guests in the building today. We got two people that's influential in the Houston area, and I wanted to get them on the show to talk about what they got going on in the community. I want everybody to welcome to the show. First, I have two people. The first person I want to introduce to my left, I have a Miss Melanie. Melanie Miles.
Right.
Hey.
Hey.
All right.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. And the person to my far left, I got Miss Ieshia Champs.
Thank you for having me.
I said that right? Ieshia
yeah,
Champs?
You said it right.
Like the champ is here, right?
The champ is here.
How you guys doing today?
Doing well, and you?
Great.
Oh, I'm awesome. How was you guys Thanksgiving?
Mine was great. It was filled with good food, although I cooked like for 2 days.
Okay.
But, you know, it's all good. And we had a great time.
Okay. What about you, Ieshia?
Same family, laughter, children,
Mm-hmm.
good time.
Y'all sounded so boring. I'm like, I had family time. We just went and we just.
We're trying to get warmed up here.
Y'all didn't look.
Come on, you was like throwing us in.
I'm like, details from my little Thanksgiving. You know, of course, I had 3 different turkeys. I had the fried turkey, I had the boiled turkey.
Boiled turkey?
Boiled. Not boiled, but what is it?
Boiled?
Baked. I'm sorry.
You put it in water, boil it? Okay.
Baked. We had everything. Of course, you know, in New Orleans, we had every type of seafood they had with every type of dish. You know, they infused everything with pasta and crawfish and crab and shrimp and everything else. So,
Did y'all stuff it in the turkey? Like
yeah, we did. Actually, we did. We had the, I don't know if you're familiar with seasoning Tony Sastry.
Oh, come on.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
I'm from Houston.
Shout out to the people in Houston that know about Tony Sastry.
Houston is West Louisiana. I mean, shoot, we put Tony Sastry in everything.
Oh, I didn't know that. See, well, I did know that, but I didn't.
Come on.
And Zatarain's.
Yeah, see, I thought y'all was going to say Obey or something like that, like on the East Coast. Nah, I ain't going to do that to y'all. I ain't going to do that. Nah, but I'm glad you guys came on the show, man.
Yeah, so am I.
So
likewise.
I want to ask both of you guys, let's get started. Where are you from?
I'm from Melanie Miles. I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised right here.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to school here, high school, and went to Howard University.
Hey, shout out HBCU. Hey, boo. I'm going to say boo too now, but
No, don't say boo.
HBCU love, though. I like that.
And then came back to Houston for law school, for South Texas College of Law here.
Okay, that's dope. That's dope. What about you, Ieshia?
I was born in Port Arthur, Texas.
PA.
Yeah.
The hood.
Hey. Definitely in the hood.
UGK.
Definitely. I was born in Port Arthur, Texas. Ended up in Beaumont through the foster care system, and then ended up here in Houston through the foster care system as well. And this is where I have been for the past, I'm not going to tell my age, but for over 20 years.
It's all right.
For over 20 years, I graduated from Thurgood Marshall School of Law in May of 2008.
Hey. Shout out to TSU. I got to shout that out. HBCU.
Right,
All right.
yeah.
We got HBCU love in here. I see y'all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So both of you guys are attorneys, right?
Right.
So, first, I want to ask you guys, what inspired you guys to go to law school to be an attorney? Because out of all things you guys could have did, right? You could have been a nurse. Most of us are. nurse. You could have been a teacher. You know, back in the day. That's all. Basically, most of our parents and
my mom was a nurse.
Right. So there's only so many options we had. So as far as being an attorney and being a woman that's an attorney, a black woman that's an attorney, why did you guys decide to get in that field?
Are you sure you want to go first?
Sure. So, again, as I stated, I was born in Port Arthur. And living in Port Arthur, Texas, of course, living in the projects. It was.
Shout out to the projects.
Yeah, shout out to the projects.
Shout out to the projects. That's why I learned all my ground rules in the projects.
So, I mean, that was the only life I knew. Of course, dealt with gangs, drugs, and everything. So I thought that was life. Well, I was taken away from my parents at a young age by CPS and ended up in Beaumont.
Okay.
And my first day of school while in the foster home, it was career day at my elementary school. I was in maybe the 2nd or the 3rd grade. And just so happened the first speaker was an attorney.
Okay.
And as she went around the room asking everyone, what is it that you want to be when you grow up? I kind of paused. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I never even, thought about that. I didn't even really know that this life existed.
Right.
And so I just kind of hunched down in my seat, like embarrassed. I said, oh, I just hope she passes me by. And she looked right at me and she said, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I just kind of shrugged my shoulders. I said, I don't know. And she said, well, what do you like to do? I said, I like to help people.
Okay.
And she said, I think you will make a great attorney because that's what we do.
Okay.
And she just kind of detailed her job description as an attorney. And as she walked away from me, she looked at me and she said, I look forward to seeing you in the courtroom one day.
She's spoken to your soul. See that? See how beautiful teachers are back in the day?
Yeah, give it up to teachers.
Yeah, I'm saying she's spoken to your spirit, and now look, it came to fruition.
You never know how you can impact one person, right?
That's right.
Those words, fed into you. That's beautiful.
They really did. Yeah.
Right, that's awesome. What about you, Melanie?
My story is totally different.
Okay.
Not quite as, I would say life-changing as Ieshia's story was. Mine was, I went to Howard for computer science.
Okay.
As a degree and got a job after that as a systems engineer. I was living actually in Boston because that's where I got a job after school and wanted to make it back down to Houston. So I quit and began my own consulting company here in Houston and realized pretty quickly that I had to deal with attorneys all the time, reading contracts and that kind of thing. And, I just didn't have the kind of experience I felt that I should, new, out of school, basically a few years, and was trying to make it and start something on my own. I just felt like I didn't understand the law. I didn't understand the language. I was a brand new little business owner, and I was trying to make it, right?
Okay.
And so I felt like the people that I was coming in contact with on the legal side, they really didn't, understand my business, and they didn't have an interest in learning it.
Okay.
So I said, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to law school, and I'm going to, write my own contracts and do my own thing. And I did, and ended up going into family law.
Okay.
So because like Ieshia and that were similar, I wanted to go into an area of law where I really was able to help people through difficult times in their life.
So by listening to that, that had to be a different transition because you say you was in computer science.
I was.
So
totally different.
So
Totally
what
different.
made? First of all, how long was that transition? Like, how long did you work in computer science before you got into law?
About 6 years.
Okay. Oh, so you were still fairly young.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you
Fairly
was,
young now.
Well,
What are
no,
you
I'm
talking
saying shout out to young people. Hey. Okay, that's dope because I know a lot of people make transitions in mid part of their life.
Right.
They 30, 32, 33, 34, 35
Right.
and decide to go into another career.
Right.
And I just wanted to know if that was something that you did at that time.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't that old, but it was a big transition for me, and like I said, mainly because I felt like the direction I was going in wasn't fulfilling me. It wasn't filling up my cup every day.
I got you. And it's also something that you do that's very profound. I'm going to tell y'all the backstory. It's a brief story of how I met Melanie. We had a brief conversation with one of our mutual friends that we know, And she told me her background. I thought that was interesting. I was like, well, I said, I got to get her on the podcast. So it's something, now, I don't want to mistake it and say it wrong, but it's the PAC.
Right.
The PAC PAC.
We are the Black Women of Greater Houston PAC.
PAC.
And a PAC is a political action committee.
Okay.
So we are a group of Black women that are interested in impacting politics, both locally here in Houston, which we're primarily focused with, and also nationally. And nationally in that, how it impacts Houston, how it impacts Black people, our families, our communities, our businesses. We're interested in that. So that's what the PAC is about, and about promoting candidates that care about what we care about, which is what I just told you. Black people, our families, our communities, and what impacts us.
Especially, and I want to get into that, especially you talking about the candidates. Ieshia, she's campaigning right now to be judge for the 315th Juvenile District, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And most love for that. We're going to give a shout out for that. Let's give a hand clap for that. Kudos. So I wanted to know what made you wanted to get into that. I know you say you came from the foster care system, but these kids now are different. I love the kids. I love the kids, but these kids are different.
These kids are kids these days. I'll just say that they're really different.
Yes.
So a few things. Growing up after the foster care system, I ended up in a part of Houston that they quote unquote call dead end, the hood.
Okay.
So being there, I eventually, unfortunately, I'll say, I dropped out of high school. I became a teen parent, and so my dreams of law school were just depleted. Started having children, and ended up going back to school, and I realized going to get my GED, my pastor ended up calling and said, hey, God told me to tell you you need to go and get your GED because that lawyer you want to be, you're going to be it. And I said, oh, she has to be crazy. I am 25 years old. I have 3 children. I'm pregnant now. Like, there's no way. And so God allowed me to do that. And after that, I was like, wow, I have a GED. I went on and graduated from law school. And like Miss Melanie here, I wanted to go into family law because, I see the division and how broken families affect mainly the African American community.
Right.
And so while at Thurgood Marshall School of Law, I ended up interning at the Harris County Attorney's Office, where I am now, in the Children Protective Services Division. And when I got there, it just kind of brought back so many memories. And I said,
that must have been hard too.
It's like trauma, like to a degree, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really, really hard to actually see the entire process from start to finish. And I'm like, so this is what happened. This is what happened, the process when we were taken away from our parents, placed in foster care. And it was during that time of my second year of law school, second to third year, I was handling a case, and this young girl came into court, and she just cried so hard. And, she felt as though, no one was there for her parents and deliver, and, she just wanted to give up. And I said, I hope I don't get in trouble for crying in court. And that just really gravitated, it just really gravitated with me. And I just wanted to grab the young lady and just hug her. And I said to myself, what can I do to be more effective in my role as an attorney when I graduate? And I mean, what better position to be in than to advocate for, the ones who need it. So it's like, it's full circle. Everything went full circle. So the advocated is now the advocator for children that, were in my same position.
So let me ask you this, like, speaking to that point, because I'm looking at it from because most traumatic events happen when you're between 3 and 13, your developmental years, right? So when you say you stepped into that courthouse, you're looking at it from a lens from a 13-year-old or an 8-year-old, right? Because you have the memories.
Yes.
It's called classical conditioning in psychology. When you go to a moment or you sit in a place and it takes you right back to that place, right? Vivid
Yes.
image. But now you in a as an attorney, right? Like, how did you maintain that composure? You know what I'm saying? Going into that situation, because me, I'd have been like, hold on, hey judge, look, I got to relax for a second. I got to go outside because it's going to take me back. It's going to, you know what I'm saying, rekindle those memories. How did you maintain that?
Just knowing, I had to learn. It's a learning thing, and even now I'm still learning because again, cases differ and circumstances differ, and so I'm learning to. And back then I had to learn to take my personal feelings outside of it.
Okay.
And understand that this is work. And you are here representing someone who is trying to protect these children. And so, therefore, you do the best that you have to do to make sure that this child doesn't have to come, back in the court crying and, you seeing things like this.
Got you. And you being the judge would make a lot of changes in that aspect.
That is definitely my goal.
Okay. That's
Yes.
good. So, Melanie, you have a pack of women that actually you set, or you got, what, 18? How many women that's judges in Houston?
So in Houston, we have like just women or
Women, just
black
women.
women?
Black women.
Black women. I think there are probably maybe about 25 black
25.
female
That is
judges here in
Yeah.
I
Houston.
gotta hold up. I gotta give a shout out for that.
I know.
25 black women judges in the Houston area.
Isn't
That's
that
amazing.
incredible? Remember in 2018, there were 19 elected into office at one time. Do y'all remember that? Right? It went national all over the country.
Wow.
So those women are now coming up for re-election.
Okay.
And then there are in between that, before them, there were a few on the bench already.
Okay.
Since then, there have been a couple of others elected onto the bench. So now I think we have about 25, something like that.
That is amazing.
Isn't that great?
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And it's intimidating at the same time.
Yeah.
Because, well, I will say this. I'm gonna say this as a well, I'm gonna speak for a young man, not as a man. Now I'm not breaking no laws right now.
Okay.
So, but as a young man, that's intimidating because most black men see a black woman on stand. The first thing they think about is who?
Their mother?
Their mother. And their mother's going to chastise them, right? Even though they're going to spoil them, but their mother's going to chastise them. It's like, okay, you did the crime, you got to do the time.
Well, you would rather have your mother up there.
All right.
Definitely.
You'd rather have somebody looking like your mother than, and that maybe has some, that's thinking about not only the crime,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But a punishment that fits the crime, right?
Oh, okay.
And also, rehabilitation, and if that's an option, if it's possible in this young man's case,
Yes.
right? I mean, so you want somebody that's looking like your mother, who's looking at all the facts,
Yes.
right? That's looking at everything before she says, okay, your punishment is, no game board for 6 months, or is your punishment you go in there and wash the dishes and then go do your homework and go home? I mean, what is appropriate for the situation?
Fairness.
Right? Fairness.
Yeah.
Fairness.
Just, and it doesn't require somebody that looks like me or Ieshia,
Right.
but is someone who has, the right judicial, I'm going to say demeanor, temperament, understands and knows the law, and is going to apply it evenly.
Well, we
right?
saw that with the Rittenhouse case, but that's
Hello?
another story. But I ain't going to talk about that.
So that's a perfect example.
Right.
Right? That's a perfect
All you got to do is
example.
cry on the stand to be white. Oh, that's another story. But no, let's get into politics.
Okay. Let's do it.
So, politics. We all know politics is a tricky game, right?
Yep.
Right. And I'm not going to get into those questions.
Not for the faint of heart. That's for darn sure.
It's a tricky thing. Some people get into politics for the good. Some people get into politics for the power.
Yeah.
Right. Others get in politics because just to get in there, right?
Yep.
Just to have their name.
Yep.
So, what is one reason why you guys got into politics, or getting into politics, or trying to get into politics?
So the reason why I'm involved in politics is because it matters, because it makes a difference. If we don't get involved in politics, I mean, each and every one of us, not just the vote. I mean, voting is, so critical, and it's very important. But to have candidates and elected officials that are going to care about our community. So before you can vote, you've got to have good candidates to
right.
vote on,
Right.
right? And if we don't have good candidates, then we are just stuck and left with whatever they decide to give us,
Right.
you know? So, and that's not acceptable. So that's why I'm involved in politics, not just for me, but for my children, your children, her
Yes.
children, you know, for our communities. If we don't, then we have no voice. And so that's the important thing. We always need to have a voice.
Right. Ieshia, why you got in politics?
I would definitely piggyback off of what Ms. Miles just stated. And to add to that, I would say I chose politics or this area because I am tired of settling for inequality.
Okay. That's fair. That's good. Okay.
And I know I'm only one person, but I represent so many other people. And I'm tired of settling and seeing other people settle, whether white, brown, black, but mainly African Americans. I've seen it too many times.
Okay.
And so, of course, I want to try to come in and not just make an impact on the community, but hopefully on the judicial system as a whole.
Got you. So you spoke on something about the black vote, and all of us went to a HBCU, right? So I know it's campaign time, and I know for local elections, we're going to need those young kids, young adults to go out and vote.
Right.
What are some ways to motivate those guys to get out and vote? Because you know, it's a stigma. Like when Obama was in president, he had a campaign where he went to the colleges first. And I'm not saying he went to the black colleges, but he went to the colleges for the younger vote first because they have a more of a liberal mindset. Far as with local government, how you guys expect to get that vote from those young people to motivate them?
Ieshia?
Sure. My plan on doing so, my goal is to educate. I think a lot of the young people these days, they aren't, just kind of, they aren't educated mainly in the politics area. And so it's more, what you see on TV and what you see, and so I believe education is definitely important. Block walking, I believe, holding community events, to have them ask questions about, what's going on, because a lot of people don't know, they do not know what's going on at the courthouse and what actually can and cannot happen because they're not down there.
Right.
And so I think, educating them and showing them, if you don't vote, this is what's going to happen, or this is what's, going to continue happening. And I think my main education, my main goal showing these young people that their vote matter is the whole Black Girl Magic movement.
Okay.
I think that turnout with the young vote.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful turnout, and it's evidence to show these young people that, hey, your vote really does matter.
Yes.
Because if it didn't matter, you wouldn't have these 19 or so wonderful judges on the bench today. And so I think that's really important. Asking them, are they registered to vote? Trying to, assist them with getting registered to vote, and things of that nature. So that's my game plan starting off. Of course, I'll elaborate on that a little bit.
That's cool. Okay.
So with Black Women of Greater Houston PAC, since we're not candidates,
Okay.
So our objective is to get good candidates in office, but we collaborate with other community organizations. So some of those community organizations are on the college campuses, and that means political action groups on the college campuses, whether it's the Young Democrats Club or, the Alpha Phi Alpha or AKAs or, sororities, fraternities, because most of those organizations also have political awareness and political connection chairperson or that kind of thing. So we believe that, my daughter who's 20 can speak to another 20-year-old better than I can.
Right.
Okay. So
relatability.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. So that's our objective, is to collaborate and connect with other like-minded organizations, which are fraternities, sororities, and all of that, and other school organizations are doing. So that's our tactic to get the young vote out.
Okay, that's dope. Let me ask you guys this, because I'm not a politician. Well, I am. I'm a hood politician. Say that. I play hood politics.
You're politicking right now. What are you talking about?
I'm friends with politicians. So I heard you because you guys have a sense of groundness, right? You guys grounded in the way you guys, you guys speak. Let me ask you guys: does spirituality play a role in politics with you guys? Because sometimes you got to make the right decision. Sometimes the right decision isn't the right decision. Right?
Yeah.
So does spirituality play a role in that?
I think for me, it absolutely does.
Okay.
It absolutely does. I think that's an individual question, for each and every person. But for me, it absolutely does. If I'm at that crossroad, then how do I make that decision? Do I go right? Do I go left? What, if I need guidance, who do I look to? So for me, it does.
Okay.
And definitely for me, I'm a very spiritual person. I know that I wouldn't be where I am today without God. I do know that, of course, you have to separate, church and politics on the bench. However, I believe my spirituality and that portion of it will come in my decision making. Okay. Because, like you stated, everything that's right can't be, explained that way, or it can't be decided that way, I'll say. But I believe that if you are upholding the law that is written and being fair, I believe that is a form of truthful spirituality. And so, yeah.
You know what? It's funny, though. I was talking to somebody recently. There are political parties, and I'm not going to go into that right now, that have basically, hijacked certain words in our language, like faith, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
If you start talking, if I say faith, family, community, family values, which political party do you think of? Okay, so I'm just saying they've hijacked those words, like Democrats. I'm just going to say that don't have faith, family, community, and all of that kind of stuff. So I think that yes, you have to. That's why I say it's an individual thing, because yes, I do, believe, for me, faith and who I turn to is definitely important. But those same things can be twisted.
Oh, absolutely.
And used. There are a lot of wars and a lot of crime and slavery and a whole lot of things that were done in the name of Christianity and faith.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Don't get into that. Hey. But no, that's funny you said that, because I have these, I'm not gonna say arguments, these passionate discussions with my family all the time, right? Most of my family, and I'm ashamed to say this, they don't vote. And most of them are black males, because they're all conspiracy theorists. They believe that the vote doesn't count. They believe that if I vote for this individual from state to local to federal, they don't believe it's any change that's going to happen in the community. Mm-hmm. So, and to a degree, I was like that to a degree until I started getting into it.
Yeah.
And I started getting into like these campaigns and started seeing what these people is really doing on the ground level,
right,
versus the top level,
right?
Because it's a lot of people that you have to kind of massage to a degree to get their vote, and I want to get into that. I wanted to get into that I'm gonna use the word massaging, or I'm gonna use your word, relating.
Okay.
How can you get the people to relate with the information that you're trying to convey? When you're trying to put somebody in office, or when you're trying to put somebody, or you're trying to get on as a judge, how can you get them to relate with that message? Because a lot of people are not going to look like us.
Yeah.
A lot of people are not going to understand you coming from the projects.
Right.
Right. Some people come from River Oaks.
Right.
Right. All their life. They don't know what hot sauce is.
Yeah.
Well, they know what hot sauce is, but
yeah. But they can't relate, right? They can't relate to your life, your lifestyle, where you, like you said, you may have friends, brothers, whatever, and they're like, well, no, nothing's going to change. I think wherever you come from, I think with politics, kind of like what Ieshia is saying, she's seeing children who've gone through the foster care system every day. It just so happens she can personally relate to them, but it doesn't mean that she has to tell her story about it. I think that how you relate to people is say, okay, everybody here knows someone, I don't care if it's your next door neighbor, your cousin, who's been through the criminal system.
Absolutely.
Okay? Everybody does, all right? And I don't care if they come from River Oaks or, wherever. Then that person going before that judge in a criminal justice system, you have the ability to elect that person and what kind of person is going to sit on that bench.
That is true.
So whether or not, and you want someone who's going to be fair, who's going to be just, who's going to have a heart for God's people, right?
Right.
Each and every one of us. So I think that, it doesn't matter if I grew up on, whatever I grew up on, hot sauce, or whether I grew up on ketchup.
Fried chicken,
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It matters where my heart is, and I think that's how you get people to relate. If they can see that I am passionate about you, I'm passionate about what happens to you, what happens to your community, and that's what this woman is over here saying. So, that's what we really care about, and what we need on the bench are judges and sheriffs, and and it just
police
so
officers.
happens, police officers and state reps and state senators and mayors that really do care about all of Houston, all of the citizens, and not just a couple of them.
Definitely.
No, look, you brought up a point. Oh my goodness,
you getting me all revved up here.
Actually, you can chime in too, but you brought up a point, because now we talk about black people, which are only 17% of the population. Do people of color really matter?
Well,
as far as when it comes to voting.
Okay, look at our most recent elections.
Okay.
So we just talked about this Black Girl Magic, 19 black female judges elected into office in 2018, right?
Mm-hmm.
That couldn't happen without black folks. Yep. Let's just become more recent than that. Let's look at 2020 elections with Biden and Kamala Harris being elected into the White House. Do you really think we would have the first black woman as a vice president of the United States without black people getting out to vote? Or go back to earlier than that, to Obama and all. I mean, come on. So you'd think that would happen if... Look at Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
The
true.
impact. Do you really think, though, in Warnock in Georgia, as a senator, we think those changes would happen without the black vote? I'm telling you.
No, they wouldn't. It wouldn't. It wouldn't.
No.
And I don't want to say that, because I'm not going to say this. Because I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to say it.
Okay. Don't say it.
I'm saying because, we are only 17%.
Yeah.
Right. So if we look at it from a number standpoint, even if we all vote 100%, we still are not majority.
Okay. 17% may be of the entire population, but of those registered to vote, and that are voting, like 96% vote. Okay.
Right.
So you look at other populations of people. If you just look at population numbers, there are other demographics who have larger numbers, but they don't have larger numbers registered to vote and actually voting at the polls.
Gotcha.
So that makes the difference.
I got you.
So that's why they say African Americans have been the backbone of the Democratic Party, because you can count on my mama calling your mama and you and saying, get out, come on, get up, and we're going to vote.
Yep.
I got you. I see the passion coming out. Yeah. I like the passion. It's coming out. So let's talk about campaigning. So when does campaign actually start for us with the actual judges, local judges?
So everyone has, to my knowledge, has already started campaigning.
Okay.
The filing deadline to be on the ballot is December 13th.
Okay.
And so once that comes out, the primaries will happen March 1st, I believe, of 2020.
Okay.
And then the general election will take place on November 8th of 2022. Yeah.
Okay, of next year.
So we've already started campaigning. As a matter of fact, I have my first campaign fundraiser kickoff this Friday.
All right. Shout out. Hey, shout out to that. I need to know what the slogan is. What the slogan is?
Do you really want to know what the slogan is?
I want to know what the slogan is.
Do you want me to show you, or do you want me to? Okay.
I'm gonna share it on the screen right now. You're gonna see it on the screen.
I thought she was about to do a cheer or something.
Right. A chant, right?
Yeah.
Is it
my slogan?
Okay. Drum roll. Hey.
Is do justice, D-O justice.
Okay.
Equals D-U-E justice. D-U-E justice.
Do justice. I got you. Do justice equals do justice.
And therefore, in order to do that, I need you all to vote for the People's Champ.
Hey, the People's Champ. All right, I got you. Y'all see that picture on the camera right there? Look, the People's Champ. You got to vote for it.
Hold it up.
Oh, no, I'm going to put it on the screen. I'm going to put it on the screen. They're going to see
People's
it.
Champ.
The People's Champ. Oh, okay, I like that. The People's
So
Champ.
Can I have one?
Sure, yes, ma'am.
We campaigning over here. Come on now, Culturally Distinct. We supporting Ieshia.
And I have a few petitions if you guys would like to sign.
Okay.
Sure, we'll sign. That's a beautiful picture.
Thank you so much.
I got you. So look, let me ask you this. I like that. Do justice or do justice. I like that.
It's do justice, meaning if you do actually participate in justice, it will equal
do justice.
Do justice.
All right. Sound like a preacher over here. Hey, that's the word. That's the word.
Amen.
So look, I want to go back to this HBCU talk because most people that go to HBCU, we learn a second part of our life. We learn our best friends. We had most of if not all, my best friends came from at college dorm.
That's so true.
On campus.
Yep, that's so true.
Standing in them long registration lines and experiencing that, going to the Greeks, joining Greek, going to the football games, watching the band,
right,
et cetera, et cetera. But that HBCU experience, I want to know about you guys' HBCU experience. Could y'all tell me just a little, like what you guys what you learned from Howard and TSU? I know it's a lot. I know it's a loaded question, but it's a lot.
Oh my gosh, you're right. It is a loaded question. What didn't I learn from going to an HBCU? You know what I learned? I learned that I am not the exception. That's what I learned.
Okay.
I learned that I am the rule. When I left Houston, arrived on Howard University campus, which was the first time
Ever you left Houston,
yeah,
Texas.
Well, other than in the back seat of a car,
Okay.
on a drive to see my uncle in Lubbock, that was the first time. So, but to step foot on Howard's University campus and see all of these beautiful Black people, that were just, brilliant and talk about a diaspora. That's
Right.
what it was
Absolutely.
like.
Absolutely.
So. That they were smart or they were beautiful or they were eccentric or they were, Africana, they were this, they were that.
All
it was
over the
just,
place.
From all over New York, Texas, they were everything. So I learned that, all of us or many of us have been told, you're this or you're that
right.
or you're the athlete or you're different because you're athletic or you're different because you study or well, really that's not true. That was just a bunch of lies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I realized that we are all beautiful Black people.
Absolutely.
And that's what I learned, to really love my people and myself as a result of that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Ieshia, what about you?
I would definitely agree with what Ms. Miles stated. I learned how powerful we are together. Yeah. I also learned that, so many people count us out, but we are the option and not the backup plan. We're first. We're not the backup plan. Going to an HBCU made me see how many, such smart, amazing, caring, compassionate people, and not just the students, the staff. I was a single mother of 5 in law school, and I had daycare, didn't have a job, and the support, the love that, I received from my HBCU is what kind of helped me along the way. In addition to that, the people from all areas of life. I had a particular set of friends, about 6 or 7 of us, all African American, and they saw my struggle with me and my children. And they just kind of gravitated, oh no, we're going to do this together. And we all graduated together. And so it just made me realize that we are a powerful people if we stick together. And I believe that's why so many people try to, keep us divided.
Oh, absolutely. That's important. That's important, man. I can't tell y'all my HBCU experience because there's so much and I had so many things that I did. But like you said about those instructors, I'm still in contact with my instructors to this day.
Yes.
The ones that are still living.
Yeah.
Because they didn't give us just course lessons, they gave us life lessons.
Yeah, they did.
And they gave us that personal information. If you're going through anything, if you're having problems or, whatever happens, call me.
Yeah.
And you can get that at a PWI,
Yeah.
but that's another story. The people. Shout out to the people who went to the PWI, but that's another story. But anyway, I want to get some websites, Instagrams. How can we first of all, how can we donate to your campaign, and how can we find you?
Great, thank you so much for asking that. You can donate to my campaign by going to www.champsforjudge.com.
Okay.
You can submit any type of payment on the website and as well learn more about me and my background and my family. You can find me on Instagram. My personal Instagram is _ the people's champ.
Hey.
And my Instagram for my candidacy is champs for 315th. And the same on Facebook. My personal Facebook is Ieshia Champs.
Okay.
And the candidacy Facebook is Champs for 315th Juvenile District Judge.
Okay, that's dope. Melanie, what you got?
So the website for Black Women of Greater Houston PAC is BWGH-PAC. So BWGH-PAC.com.
Okay, that's dope.
Yeah, .com.
And when y'all hear that music, I wanted to get into this, but I'm not gonna do it because I found out this is some information that I found out like yesterday. I didn't know somebody that's sitting out here, sitting at this table with best friends with Kamala Harris, but I'm not gonna get into that. Right? Y'all went to school together, right?
We did.
Y'all was best friends, AKAs and everything. Okay.
That's right.
But I'm not gonna get into that.
Okay.
But guys, look, this is the Culturally Distinct podcast. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys go donate to the campaign, to Ieshia campaign. Make sure you guys hit up both websites. Say the websites one more time.
www.champsforjudge.com
And BWGH-PAC.com.
Make sure you go check them out. Of course, where we are, Culturally Distinct everywhere. Make sure y'all tune in to the next show. Make sure y'all tune into this. Look, if y'all see these two individuals in the streets of Houston, make sure you guys give them a hug. Give
us some love.
Give them $2, give them $3, and I want 15%. But I love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Much love. Peace.
Thank you.